Good afternoon. This is John with 605 Upland. This is going to be a three-part video pre-scouting for South Dakota, specifically for do-it-yourself pheasant hunters, a way to kind of pre-scout before you ever show up. And I'm going to go over in the three different videos. I'm going to go over the South Dakota Game Fish and Parks Hunting Atlas. I will, in my second video, I will tie that into Onyx. How I use those tools to pre-scout a new location in South Dakota before I ever actually go out and hunt the birds. And so, brief introduction. This is starting a new channel. Please like and subscribe. So I'm just going to start from scratch. Game Fish and Parks, gfp.sd.gov. You have the two things I want you to take from this page at this current moment. Yeah, you need to go out and get your licenses. And in South Dakota, non-resident, you purchase a 5-day non-resident upland license. Importantly, is South Dakota has a lot of public land opportunity. So if you just click on this hunt tab and you scroll down and you see hunting areas, gives you a description of hunting areas, over 5 million acres of hunting opportunity, both on public lands and private lease lands, which is known as the walk-in. Goes through, gives you a good description of the lands. A word that will pop up a few times is respect. Yes, respect the lands. Uh, you know, pick up your spent shells. Don't leave any garbage. Leave things as they were when you first came in. So as long as we're respecting our lands and respecting our landowners and those privileges, we'll continue to have uh, great, great hunting opportunities. Further down, it goes into where to hunt private lands for hunting, and it describes the walk-in. So you should read through this. Crep, chap. I won't discuss much about chap on this video. I'm gonna go up and elk hunting, blah blah blah, downstream, and then where to hunt public lands open for hunting. So this is more of the public lands, game production, uh, waterfowl production, BLM. Not much BLM on the eastern side of the state. Most of the BLM is on the western side of the state. I am focusing mostly on the eastern side. Forest Service, the important thing related to hunting here, upland hunting, if you're into prairie chickens and grouse, the grasslands are an important factor when hunting those species. School public lands, you'll see those out there too. But that's just like I said, read through this. Also, always a good idea to read through hunting regulations. I'm not going to get into regulations, but they have basically all your regulations. There's non-resident, resident, blah blah blah. But what we're going to focus on are maps, and I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as possible. And you'll see several different types of maps. There's printable. Public Hunting Atlas is where we're going to focus. Disclaimer, okay, you got me. Um, South Dakota, amazing place. If you're not familiar with South Dakota, um, what you may or may not know is South Dakota is divided by the Missouri River. Everything to the west of the Missouri River is West River. Everything to the east is East River. The majority of the pheasant population is East River, but there are lots of opportunity on the West River. I mean, if I was to draw where the Missouri comes into South Dakota up here at the top, and you just draw a straight diagonal line down to here, I would say, 90% of the pheasant hunting takes place on the east side. So that's where I focus. There are some really, really good hunting areas down here that is west of the Missouri, and but most people are hunting the east side. There's ranches, lodges, everything else on uh, the west side too that offers opportunity. But as you can see, just not as much access compared to what's on the east side. Today, I'm going to quickly go into Aberdeen area. Let's say that I am a non-resident, never been to South Dakota. I'd like to go to Aberdeen and hunt there. What should I do if I'm a DIY hunter and I just want to go with myself and my dogs, my friends and dogs and family and dogs. Like I said, important to have dogs. Dogs are to me like you know most of the hunt. It's love hunting with my dogs. So we're looking at Aberdeen, and you can see that there is, if you're going to break this up into four quadrants here, that quadrant one, there's a lot out here. Quadrant two is a lot out here. Maybe not so much down here, but still quite a bit. And some here, I'm just going to zoom closer into Aberdeen. The hunting atlas, you have your base map imagery, and I typically choose the imagery with labels because you can see county lines in there, and that's probably the only reason. And there may be some other information, other labels in there that I might be interested in, but not not much changes other than you can see the county lines. Aberdeen is in Brown County, which is pretty famous for pheasant hunting. There's some different layers up here. I'll typically turn off the waterfowl for for my presentation here, and otherwise, and as you can see, I'm just going to dive into the northeastern portion of Aberdeen. I just see a lot. You got federal wetlands up here, WPA. You can see the brown is crep, and so I'll start with just Aberdeen in general. That you can see that there's crep, walk-in, WPA, and school grounds around Aberdeen. If you're showing up like an opening week of hunting, um, my guess is that all the close in places are going to get hit pretty hard. So I would go out at least a half hour or more from Aberdeen, and then pick, like I said, pick an area and maybe one of those quadrants. And like I said, I'm just going to pick this area east of Sand Lake National Wildlife Refuge. Uh, I see WPA, I see crep, I see walk-in. Not familiar with this one. State Game Bird Refuge, closed to all bird hunting. So don't hunt there. But knowing that there is a sanctuary in that area, the hunting around that sanctuary is probably fairly decent. Um, so what I would do is go through this map and kind of come up with some sort of a game plan, an area, And I tell you, I mean, if we were going to take this quadrant and break it into sub quadrants, and you have 4 quadrants, and you're using Sand Lake as your baseline, and you're right on the border of Brown and Marshall County here, that I would take like this area, and maybe this area and this area and this area, and go through and pre-scout those areas on the computer. And if you're going to show up ahead of your hunt, if, for instance, if you have a 5-day hunt coming up and you're going to show up before that 5-day, or if you're going to show up on that day, you can kind of scout as you go if you want to. But the more homework that you do before you go, I think the way better off that you're going to be. And I'll use this map and on X together, but in this video I'm just going to focus primarily on the South Dakota Public Hunting Atlas, and just show you some of those features. And as you can see, just looking at this, there's plenty of lands out here. You zoom in, I kind of like to hunt near crops if possible. A lot of this looks like upland prairie wetlands. There are some crops in here and in between. You can see some crops that are currently in place, but just kind of get an idea of where you want to go. So I mean, you could use this map exclusively if you want, and the way you would do that is you can uh, click on something that once you get there, and then you can go get directions, and it will take you there to that location. Um, and but the thing is that there's no way to like bookmark or waypoint on this map. You can't personalize this map, unfortunately. But it is kind of, for me, for a DIY hunter, resident of South Dakota, I this is like, like I said, my Bible for finding public huntable lands. And this uh, atlas is, what I heard or what I read, is updated in August, and I would assume that most of those updates would be completed by September. That's kind of the introduction to South Dakota Public Hunting Access. My next video is going to be utilizing the atlas with on X maps. Again, like and subscribe. Hopefully this information has value. Like I said, I'll definitely be getting deeper into the pre-scout as we go along.